Well, you have finally got here. You are listening to the Erskine Music Podcast. Here, by popular demand, we discuss life, culture, Christ, and of course, music. These half-hour broadcasts are perfect for a commute, coffee time, chat, or any other gap in your schedule where you want to put great content. So without further ado, let's join the conversation today, already in progress.
Woo! It's getting hot. Yeah. It's getting hot on the Erskine Music Show today. We got some hot topics. We're going to invite Citizen No, because I don't want to say his full name. I don't know what he's going to say, actually. Actually, I've had hours of knowing what it is that he's going to say. So Agent No, Citizen No, is coming on to the show today, and he's going to be sharing with us his take on some of the hot takes and hot topics of our world. Am I about to burn the show down? Is this where it all ends? Season 6, we didn't even make it to season 7, just short of 1,000 subscribers. Is this how it all ends? I don't know. I don't know, but I know that this is going to be a good episode. All right, tune in today. It's the Erskine Music Show. You won't want to miss this show. Here's the way this is going to work today. We got 2-minute lightning rounds that are going to be coming in with our special guest. And on these 2-minute lightning rounds, we're going to deal with the hardest topics that we have in our society today. And in 2 minutes, this man who could literally talk all day long on just one of these topics, this man who with his profundity and who with his ability to take concepts and ideas and string them together in a barrage of vocabulary. Merriam-Webster has inculcated some words as a result of all the different things that he is able to say about each of these different topics, but I'm only giving him 2 minutes. I want to see if he could, this is a different format for him. I'm going to see if he can localize his comments down to 2 minutes. Get 30 seconds, just tell everybody not who you are, but just let them know that you're a real human being, because we're about to jump into some topics here that are just incredible.
I am a real human being. I am not a mirage.
I love it. I love it.
I'm not a bot.
He's not a bot. All right, sir. I'm going to give you the question, and then we're going to count down, and you're going to have 2 minutes to answer the question
Okay.
in whatever way, shape, form, or fashion you want to answer the question. I don't even know if I can do this, but I feel like you can do this. You'll have 2 minutes to answer the question in whatever way, shape, form, or fashion you choose to answer the question. And at the end of that, I will make some small commentary or make some sound effect or something to the effect. And then we will move on to the next question.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting to see. Now, are you like super pressed for time, like 15 minutes and then you're out? Because we may only get to 2 of these.
I need to get to work. And
Okay.
it's going to take me at least between 30 and 45 minutes. I never know. You
Okay.
know what the traffic's going to be like.
Okay. Well, let's get started here. Let's get started. Let's get ready to rumble.
Right?
All right. First question that I have for you today. Transphobia is defined by Merriam-Webster as an irrational fear or aversion to or discrimination against transgender people. Homophobia and transphobia are major issues among the LGBTQ youth community who are at higher risk for verbal harassment, according to Erica Linty. My question to you is this mostly hype, transphobia, and propaganda, or are Christians transphobic? Are Christians transphobic? Let me give you a countdown on that one, just to give you 5 seconds to think about that before you get going. Oh,
Well, I can't speak for everyone on either side. I'm sure there are some people who are homophobic or transphobic. They have an irrational fear that could be tamed with some understanding, maybe leaning into a conversation with somebody who holds one of those viewpoints. But I do feel in this current climate that a lot of this is driven by the media. Now, again, I can't give you hard data at this moment to substantiate what I'm saying. But from everything I've seen, playing out in the wild, unmanipulated. So this is not me looking for it. This is just me experiencing on a day in, day out basis. I'm seeing that there's a lot of sound bites and talking heads out there, and they're not really having a conversation. They're just throwing out these terms, these ideas, and they're just looking to identify those people who would be considered offenders. So I would say that yes, there can be those within the church who are transphobic or homophobic, but I feel like there are a lot of people in the church.
Oh, sorry. Where did he go? He still had 40 seconds left on the clock. Let's see if we can find him. They took him off. Facebook took him off. It's a conspiracy. He still has 28 seconds left on the clock. Let's see if we can get back on. Let's give this man his time. Let's see if we can recover him from the lost world.
All right.
I thought Facebook cut you off. They didn't like your answer.
You're back to the stuttering, so we probably have to wait just a minute for that to subside.
All right. Well, you go.
I guess I can just finish quickly by saying I'm sure there are those who are legitimately transphobic or homophobic, but I would say that the majority of the people who are being accused of being such are not. And if they were given the opportunity to express themselves, I think it would be very clear that they're not. They just simply hold viewpoints that are drastically different than the other side. And can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
The world can hear you. Loud and clear.
I don't know what's going on.
I know what's going on.
All right. So where are we now?
All right. Well, that was handled with class, with poise. Are Christians transphobic? Let's see. Yes, shame on Facebook. I just told everybody Facebook took you off of there. This is a grand conspiracy. YouTube shut you down. Big Brother is watching this show. It's funny, I can't get my views up, but Big Brother is watching this show. It's amazing.
Right.
All right. Since you're pressed for time, let's get that Erskine music stuff off of there. We're going to talk about mass shootings. There have been more than 200 mass shootings across the U.S. so far this year. According, to Gun Violence Archive, which defines a mass shooting as an incident in which 4 or more people are injured and or killed. Those figures include shootings that happen in homes and in public places. In the last 3 years, there have been over 600 mass shootings, averaging almost one a day.
And the question is...
So the question to you is, why do we have so many mass shootings in our country?
Do I wait for the countdown or do I begin?
I mean, if you're advantageous, you just go.
Well, not to sound like I'm oversimplifying it, but we are broken people in a fallen world. You know, if you think about this particular issue of murder, it takes us back to the very first book of the Bible, Genesis. You know, when Cain killed Abel, that was the first recorded murder. And that was in the first book of the Bible. So for all time, space, and history since then, people have been killing other people with whatever means possible. It's not a condition of the culture. It's not a condition of or an issue of what instrument is used or available. It's a condition of man's heart. Man has rebelled against God. As a result, man's will is bent towards sin. And in his sinful, rebellious state, he has a desire to do things such as murder other people. And I find it interesting that, yes, mass murders here in this country have increased, but the reality is that there are wars and have constantly been wars for just about all time, space, and history. And even as we speak right now, I mean, we've got wars going on in the Ukraine, wars going on in Sudan. There's conflicts all around the world right now. where hundreds, if not thousands, of people are being killed. And we don't seem to give that enough attention either. But I think what really needs to be known is that it's a condition of the heart. Some of these people are waking up, and for reasons we'll never understand on this side of eternity, are choosing to make these decisions. But I know at the core of it, they have rebelled against God, and it's their sinful nature that's acting out. And the problem is that the world's not offering any solution to it. Once again, they like to highlight the data. They want to debate about guns and other instruments that are used, but nobody's giving it a solution. And the solution's Christ. We need to get out there and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. He's the only hope, the only salvation. How about that? I made it. What's at the time?
Well, that certainly gives a sense of why people enjoy this show. Very engaging, very heartfelt. We will return to the conversation in a few moments, but first, let's thank our sponsors and you for all your awesome support. Moody Radio's Dawn and Steve Morning Show, Life Action Ministries, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and Holt International. Thanks so much to our partners who make such a difference. All right, let's get back to the show. This is where it gets good.
Wow. You're doing really well.
Well, I appreciate it.
In the format that I know you, we usually use long form discussion. Hours, if possible.
Well, I would prefer that also. Because these things really do need time and attention. I don't want to be guilty of just giving it sound bites like other people.
Sure. And so I hope everybody knows when we're watching the Erskine Music Show, these essentially everything that we're talking about today, we've already talked about for hours and spent, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, significant time plumbing the depths of these. We're able to distill this down to a 2-minute soundbite for you guys so that you guys can go and continue these conversations in the coffee shops and family rooms and fellowship spaces that you guys occupy and kind of flesh these things out. So you're doing a fantastic job. Can I give you another topic?
Sure.
Some groups, even religious groups, consider the Bible to be white man's propaganda to keep blacks and minorities under social order from slavery until now. Is this true? Is the Bible a tool to subjugate slaves and even minorities today?
Well, like I said earlier, I can't speak for all people on either side of the conversation. The reality is that, yes, people in history have used scripture in defense of slavery. That's a fact, unfortunately. And, interestingly, just like I was talking about with murder, this takes us back to the very beginning of the Bible. I mean, the opening of the second book of Exodus, Pharaoh's talking about issuing the order to kill all the firstborn Hebrews. I mean, so right then and there, we have evidence of racism. I mean, obviously, there was this feeling, this air of superiority and this desire to undermine a whole nother ethnic and racial group of people. And it's all driven by sin. It's all driven by fear. Once again, our wills are bent towards sin, and these are people acting out in rebellion against God. Ultimately, we sin against God and God alone. But yes, people have used the Bible in defense of, some means of holding down another ethnic group or racial group. But God said, hey, love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. So if you really want to be walking in the light, as Christ is in the light, and having fellowship with him, then you would have to be loving your brother as yourself. And you can't hold an attitude of superiority. And when I say superiority, I'm not talking about I'm simply faster or stronger. I'm talking about this idea that I am morally and ethnically and more intelligent, superior to somebody else. Christ wouldn't have it. And we saw him breaking down those barriers constantly in the New Testament. I mean, when we talk about like the woman at the well or the Good Samaritan, those are clear examples of where he's saying, don't hold these attitudes. So yes, people do. It's unfortunate, but we want to be the people who change that. We want to be the ones out there that are truly being hands and feet of Christ. I was trying to keep it in my time frame.
Man, you did a fantastic job. I don't understand how this is happening. Our conversations usually are about an hour or two long on each of these things, or
and it deserves that kind of time and attention.
It really does.
Part of the reason it exists is that people aren't having the conversation. There is a fear of the other. And I say that very generally speaking, but in a very general sense, there's always a fear of the other until you have that opportunity to sit down with them and have a conversation. And then you often realize they're a lot more like you than, you share more similarities than differences.
Man, check this out. Comment my buddy Rockin' Ron Carino out in Newton, Kansas. Good answer. Give this guy a prize. I'm going to need to take you to lunch. We're scheduling lunch. I'm buying this next time.
I'll take it.
All right. You got time for one more?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, one more question. Here we go. And let me get this up on the screen so that you kind of know where it is that we're going. How much should the Christian be involved in politics? Is there clearly one political party or idea that Christians should be in favor of? Is there a correct political party if you are a Christian? It's scrolling down at the bottom of the screen. On your mark, get set, go.
Well, once again, it takes us back to the beginning of the Bible. I mean, the children of Israel were constantly saying, crying out that we need a king, we need somebody ruling over us. And God himself kept saying, I am your God, I am your king, I am your savior. Love me and trust me and obey me alone. But they insisted on having another human rule over them. And you just fast forward over the past, thousands of years, and we're still doing the same thing. We have the Lord. He is our savior. He is the king. We can trust him and him alone, but we still feel this need and desire to have somebody else rule over us. And the Bible has said repeatedly all throughout the Old Testament into the New Testament that if you're going to have somebody rule over you, have somebody who's godly, somebody who fears the Lord, who desires good for its people so that the civilization can flourish. But as we know, because history's ripe with it, that most of the people that end up ruling over us are not God-fearing people. They don't have our best interest at heart. Usually it's self-serving. And that's the situation we're in, unfortunately. Yes, I think we need to be active in the political system. And we live in this world. We live in this country, this society. So, yes, we need to be participating in the political process. But we need to be doing it in such a way that's God-honoring. We need to make sure that the people we're voting for are not just simply tickling our ears, but people who truly are seeking after the Lord with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength, seeking to create laws and legislation that would actually promote the flourishing of the people. But too often it's all being bought out by special interest, and it's all being driven by power and fame. And again, it's self-serving. But I think the only way to combat that is to have people engaged in the process who are speaking clearly to these issues that we're facing, and they're giving a godly response to all the secular responses that we're hearing in the media.
Well, you probably already know that when you hear that sound, there's music on the way. After all, this is kind of a music show. Sit back and enjoy. All the music can be easily found on your favorite digital distribution channels. Turn up the volume and here we go.
One back down. Some days I don't have a clue of what my life would be like without you. And even when I don't understand, I will trust your unfailing hand. After all that is said and done, you're the one. Yeah, yeah. Round and round and round, that's how it goes. And where it stops, I praise the Lord no matter what comes. I don't worry for tomorrow, 'cause every day has its own set of sorrows. Day to day I'm growing up, I'm getting closer. Jesus saved me and he made me much bolder. Even when I don't understand,
Perfect, my friend. Hey, I know you got to go, but I wanted to tell you thank you so much for doing that. There's a reason why I think Christians ought to be able to articulate what it is that we believe in short segments. Long conversations are appropriate as well, but I think in the marketplace of ideas, around the water cooler, places where we find ourselves, we hear an idea or we're subjected to a thought. We're supposed to give the counter to that in 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And Agent No has done a fantastic job of showing us how to do that with the timer on and all the things. Sir, you did a fantastic job.
I appreciate it. Remember the quote verbatim, and I'm not going to do it justice. I don't even know if I should attempt, but there was a quote by C.S. Lewis talking about how bad philosophy deserves an answer. Now, again, there's much before and after that statement, but that really ties into this political conversation. You know, there's a lot of bad ideas, bad philosophy, if you will, and it does deserve an answer. It needs to be replied to. And Christians are the only ones who can reply to it because we're the only ones who hold the truth. Amen. So much of what's being spoken from that side is a lie, and people are believing the lie. And again, it takes us right back to the beginning of the Bible, and you just play it forward, and it's all of human history. But until we stand up as Christians and we give a godly response to all these issues, nothing's ever going to change. Yep. History will just continue to repeat itself.
Man, so Christ exalting, so Christ honoring. It's great to have you on the show. Now you got to go to work. And
we will do it again.
Yep, we'll do it again at some point. We'll have Special Agent No come back to the show and do his thing.
Thank you for the invite.
Yes, sir. God bless. Have a great day. All right, that was Special Agent No. Are you able to, in 2 minutes, speak to some of the most dramatic and hot topics that are out there these days? Are you able to, willing to deal with some of the hot topics of the day, some of the hot button issues of the day, and do it in a way that is compassionate, poised, metered, thoughtful, truthful, obviously, scriptural, Christological? All those different things are necessary in the day and time in which we live to be able to speak to some of the hot topics of our day.
We have come to the end of this episode. Don't miss a final word from Erskine.
Hey guys, tell your friends about this show. And as always, I look forward to your interactions. Please contact us as you are able. We love to hear from you. Okay, friends, let's go and make a difference.